Hey everybody, this is Jordan and Brian. This is another episode of the Bourbon Pour. Today we're going to talk about how we got into bourbon and whiskey and so forth. I think that's always kind of an interesting thing as you sit and drink bourbon with people, share bourbon with people, kind of getting to know their story on how their bourbon journey started. So we're going to talk about a few bottles that we first tried that got us into it, and then kind of as our palate grew, kind of those aha moments that really was like, this is what I'm searching for. And we're gonna have Brian here go first. So
okay, well, my journey has not been a very long journey. Actually, I got into bourbon about 5 years ago. Started out a avid beer drinker and got into all the craft beer, and then was at my buddy's house down in Florida, and we ran out of beer. And he had a bottle of Jack Daniels, and he poured it, and he told me how to smell it and how to taste it, and we really enjoyed it. We went on the back porch, had a cigar with it. And then when I got home, I went on the journey of finding out what I liked. So that was like the initial start of it. Ironic thing is, I really don't care a whole lot for Jack Daniels now. It's good, but it's really not my go-to. But it got me going, and the flavors that you can get out of a Jack Daniels are pretty distinguished. You can get the peanut, you can get the the banana came later. Actually, I couldn't get the banana early, but I got it later in a couple of years down the road. But there's a charcoal flavor too. Like I feel like if there's any bourbon or whiskey that I can guess that I'll always know, it's the finish of Jack Daniels always gives it away for me. So, right. Yeah. Hard to misplace it.
Right. That's right. So the next one that you have here, I think that's probably one for a lot of people.
Right, yeah. So the next kind of when I came home, I went, this is actually probably the next tier, but I took $100 and I went to the store and I looked at the bottom bottles you could buy. I did not spend over $15 on one bottle, but I got different profiles and seen what I liked, and then the next trip I went back with $300. And one of those bottles that I got was Wild Turkey 101, which still today is probably my #1 go-to for a daily drinker, for a mixer, all kinds of things you could do with this. It's just solid for 26 bucks, whatever it is in your area. It's really solid. Drinks well, stands up on its own on the rocks or in a cocktail. So,
and obviously this is my bottle, and obviously you can see I like it too. So all right, now we'll move on to kind of more of an aha moment for you, and you picked a couple really good ones that are sometimes hard to snag and come by.
Right. So the E.H. Taylor was the first allocated bottle that I was able to get a hold of. Made a relationship with one of the local liquor stores in town, and talked to them for a couple months, and they finally sold me one. So I was pretty excited about that. The taste of it is just phenomenal. But honestly, it was probably more just that I got an allocated bottle, so I was pretty proud of that. Yeah. And then here more recently, I was able to get a bottle of Stag, and it packs a punch, but I like something that kicks and got a lot of flavor. Once you get past all the alcohol, the burn, it's got a lot of flavor that pops out in that. So those are probably the ones I'm definitely into now, and something that stands out to me.
Right. So I think it's probably a good thing that you didn't start out with Stag the first time ever. You probably would have never went back. Right. All right. So those are Brian's. I'm going to take these two over here because they actually apply to me as well. So for me, whiskey growing up was always kind of a thing. I didn't drink whiskey growing up, but like my dad always liked a Jack and Coke. He didn't really get into like whiskey neat stuff until much later. But I know growing up, he always would drink a Jack and Coke. We'd go to weddings. He didn't drink much, but when he did have a drink, it was always Jack and Coke. It was like at a concert or a game or a wedding. He always had Jack and Coke. And then coincidentally, my wife, her family, they're really big into Jack Daniels. And actually one of her uncles lives about 20 minutes from the distillery. And for some reason or another, her grandparents always took like her mom and her uncles and took them actually as kids just to stop by. They always have a picnic at Jack Daniel's. The adults would go on a little tour, see the rick houses and that sort of thing. And so for those reasons, Jack Daniel's was something that I started off with as well. I think that's probably kind of a common theme with everybody is Jack Daniel's.
Everybody's had a Jack and Coke.
Right. And then another one for me, Maker's Mark. That was a big one in my family as well. For some reason, I don't know how it got started, but during the Super Bowl, we would always, my parents always have a big Super Bowl party. And one year we just started, probably whenever I turned 21, we started doing shots of Maker's Mark anytime there was a touchdown. Yeah. Some of those Super Bowls were
hard to remember.
Yeah, hard to remember. But and I always loved a Maker's Mark. I like weeded bourbon a lot, and so Maker's was something that I enjoyed. When wife and I first got married, which has been about 12 years ago now, we were, of course, into bourbon and stuff. Not like we are now, but. And I remember going to Walmart, when you first get married, the budget's tight and everything, and Jack was the most expensive bottle I had of a single barrel, which was like $50, which it still is kind of $50.
Yeah, it's pretty stayed about the same.
Kind of weird. Not the barrel proof, but the regular 94 proof one. And Maker's Mark, both were like $25, $26, and those were kind of what I would have a daily drinker or whatever. And I came across this at Walmart, of all places. Yeah. Buffalo Trace.
Hard to find at Walmart.
hard to find at Walmart now. And I remember we bought it because it was $19.99, and we needed to be very conscious of our budget. $19.99, it had a buffalo on it. It was pretty cool. We gave it a shot, and it was delicious. I don't know if it was necessarily life-changing, but we're like, we really like this Buffalo Trace stuff. So that's kind of what we switched to, what we really enjoyed. So those were kind of, the starters for me, and that's probably a common theme for a lot of you out there as well. Like Brian, an aha moment, and my number one go-to these days is Wild Turkey 101, and then also just any kind of Wild Turkey product. I really love Russell's Reserve 10-year, just that standard one. That's my favorite, probably just overall. But Wild Turkey 101 is probably right there.
It's hard to beat.
It is really hard to beat, especially for its price. I mean, it's just the best. But another aha moment for me, and was kind of, I guess, an allocated bottle that I got, was Henry McKenna 10-year. That was one that really got me into like sweet bourbon, and I think this is sweet. Of course, they vary being a single barrel. We got a fly in here. The sweet profile of that really spoke to me. Like I said, I like weeded bourbon, so sometimes I do venture on the sweet side of things. So that was another aha moment.
And it packs a good punch too.
And it packs a good punch, being a bottled in bond.
Good all around. Yeah.
It's got. I think this bourbon has like everything. It's a bottled in bond. It's 10 years and a single barrel. I mean, what more could you ask for?
That was the second allocated bottle that I got, and at the time I got it, it was $32. So things have changed a little bit in the matter of just a few, 3-4 years.
Just a little bit. I was in a store in Kentucky last spring, and they wanted $125. Or no, $150. One store had $150, and one had $125. So
they had it at Heaven Hill the last time I was there, and it was $72 or something like that. $69 plus tax, something, but it was a lot more than what I paid the first time.
So, all right, that's a kind of our bourbon journey and whiskey journey. So we'd like to hear from yours. If you want to leave us a comment or send us a message, please do that. And our mantra here is, no matter what, if you're with friends or family or anything, share your whiskey.